Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something that's on the mind of pretty much every enterprise leader out there who's serious about AI.
So, let's get right to it. Why do so many AI projects just fizzle out? You see organizations pouring tons of money into AI, but the financial returns? They just aren't showing up. And the reason why? Well, it might surprise you.
See, it's not a technology problem. The models are amazing, the tech stacks are powerful. No, it's a pipeline problem. What I mean is, there's no disciplined, repeatable process for finding, vetting, and prioritizing the right things to work on in the first place.
And look, the data on this is just wow. It's staggering. When leaders were asked why their AI projects failed to deliver value, a whopping 82% said it was because they picked the wrong use cases. Now, compare that to actual tech challenges, which is way down at just 6%. Let that sink in. The problem isn't building the AI. It's choosing what to build.
Okay, so in this explainer, we're going to walk you through a really powerful framework to fix this exact pipeline problem. We'll cover everything from building a use case funnel, finding the best ideas, testing them out, and then building an AI portfolio that actually delivers. Think of this as your repeatable playbook for success.
All right, let's dive right in. The big idea here is to stop treating AI like this random backlog of cool ideas that people throw over the fence. We need to start building a structured, disciplined use case funnel.
And this funnel gives us a really clear four-step process. First, you have discovery, where you cast a wide net for opportunities. Then, triage, where you quickly filter out the noise. After that comes validation, where you really dig into the promising ideas. And finally, prioritization, where you decide what gets funded. It's about moving from chaos to clarity.
So let's start at the top. Part 1. How do we actually fill this funnel? And the key is, it can't just be with random suggestions. We need a systematic way to sense where the real opportunities are.
A really robust discovery system uses a bunch of different channels to pick up on signals. You've got your top-down strategic goals, sure, but you also need that bottom-up feedback from the people actually doing the work. We're talking about mining support tickets, call logs, even cross-department surveys. It's all about listening to the entire organization, not just the C-suite.
And to find these real pain points, you've got to ask the right questions. Here's a pro tip. Don't go around asking for AI ideas. That's too abstract. Instead, ask about the workflow. Ask things like, where are things slow because one expert is a bottleneck? Or where do we waste time on manual rework? That's where the gold is hidden. Okay, so now our funnel is starting to fill up with ideas. The next and maybe most critical step is filtering. The goal here is simple. Kill the weak ideas early and cheaply, long before they suck up tons of time and money. And for that, we need a really tough, disciplined viability test.
We're going to start with some hard questions to enforce that discipline, and the very first gate is as simple as it gets. Does this idea have a measurable KPI, and is there a business owner who's on the hook for that outcome? If the answer is no, well, it's not a real project, it's just a hobby. Move on.
All right, next question forces a really honest conversation about risk. Look, AI is not magic. It's not perfect. So can the business workflow actually tolerate an imperfect answer sometimes? Is there a human in the loop to review and oversee it? This question gets you out of the what's technically possible mindset and into the what's operationally sound one.
And of course, we have to talk about the big one, the classic project killer, data. You might have the most brilliant idea in the world, but is the data you need to power it actually available? And is it any good? Is it trustworthy? A great concept without the data to back it up, well, it's just a fantasy.
And this whole process naturally brings up another crucial point, choosing the right tool for the job. You know, not every single problem needs a giant expensive language model. Sometimes you just need to forecast demand or score risk. That's a perfect job for good old predictive AI. Other times, it might not even be an AI problem at all, just something that needs simple automation. It's about being a craftsman, not just a hammer looking for a nail.
Okay, so let's say we've got a list of ideas that have made it through all those tough questions. They're validated, they're viable. The final challenge is deciding, what do we actually fund, and in what order? It's time to move from a list of good ideas to a strategic portfolio. Now, instead of just chasing the highest ROI, which can be misleading, the most effective programs use a weighted scorecard, something like this. It forces a much more holistic view. You're balancing the pure business impact with things like data readiness, how well it fits the workflow, risk, and even its potential to be reused elsewhere. It's just smarter. And what this does is it ensures you're building a truly balanced portfolio, not just a random collection of cool tech projects that don't actually move the needle. You can see here, yeah, business impact gets the biggest slice of the pie, as it should, but feasibility, risk, and strategy all get the attention they deserve. And that's what helps you avoid those really costly mistakes down the line.
So, what does all of this mean for you, for your organization? Let's wrap this up and turn this entire framework into your personal playbook.
Look, your next move really depends on where you are on your AI journey. If you're just starting out, focus on centralizing your process in a center of excellence and building shared templates. Get the foundation right. If you're a bit more advanced, it's time to shift from thinking about one-off projects to scaling repeatable patterns. And if you're just feeling completely overwhelmed with requests, your number one priority is to tighten those intake requirements and get ruthless about enforcing that triage process we talked about.
Ultimately, what we've talked about today is a massive shift in thinking. It's about moving away from funding just a pile of disconnected pilots and experiments and towards strategically building a governed, high-value AI portfolio. And that is what drives real, lasting financial results. So the question I want to leave you with is this. Right now, which one are you building? A portfolio or just a pile of pilots?